No idea if I'm live or not. Um, hope it's working. I haven't used it in a while. Oh, it says I just got an email. Says now live. So I'm gonna create something, bake it, and bring it into Ventus. Now I'm using the latest Cinema 4D R21. And then if you want to be more specific, we can go here. About where is it? Build R21 0.26. Okay, and we'll be using the Redshift renderer for baking the textures. So baking the lighting and shadows into the texture. So we can use it in import into Ventus. So it looks like it's all gonna be all pre-lit, the models. So let's build something really basic. So I'm gonna start with a cylinder here. Let's just bring a cylinder. Let's turn our display to shaded. Okay, so we can see our wireframe. So let's bring down the geometry. Something like this. This is our base. I'm gonna reduce those height segments. Okay. Oh yeah. Do we want to do that? Yeah, that's fine. So let's create a few materials. So let's just do new material. Let's make this, like a sandy color. Okay. Happy with that. Actually, I'm going to turn off reflections, reflectance. We're going for green, so we want a green, nice green, and we want a brown. Um, brown. There we go. So we've got 3 colors. So let's drop that on. So we've got one material there. So now let's make this into an object, so a polygon, so we can edit it, editable polygon. Let's go there. Bear with me. Let's add the loop cut. So you just put the slices in. So these are going to be, we're going to give these different colors. So this will be the grass, and that will be our soil there. So polymorph, low poly. Select that loop, and I'm going to just drag that soil, and again I click off and then select the loop, U and L I believe, and then I'm just going to shift and select the top as well and drop the green material on there. There we go. Go back into polygon. So we've got like a little base. This is our base. Let's put some basic trees on there. So we're just going to start with some really simple. Then we'll build the lighthouse, and then you can build more little islands, and continue this and build the whole interactive little island thing that you can chain together. And we'll make these interactive as well. So we'll have one that controls everything or something like this. We'll see what we do. But let's start with the cone. So this is what we're going to use for our low poly. We're making low poly model, so we're going for a low poly style. It's really quick and easy. So we've got 3 segments. Of course, you can build these shapes as well in Ventus. It's not difficult to actually build because Ventus has basic modeling, and you could do the real-time lighting and shadows. However, if you want to, bring it in from different application, you want to prepare and bake the textures in rather than have it real-time lighting, you can do that. So this is one tree. I'm just saying one tree. I'm going to reduce those height segments because we don't need it. We don't need those height segments, but we just need that. That's our tree. We can get a cylinder, and we'll just bring this down. So this is our trunk. I'm going to move this up, scale it down, bring it down again. There we go. Bring this up a tiny bit. There we go. Cool. So let's see. So you can see the trunk from pretty much any angle. Yeah. So now we've got too many polys here. So let's turn off the caps because we're not going to see those caps anyway. So make sure it sits in the ground. And let's just reduce the rotation segments. We don't need that many polys. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I just reduce the radius. There we go. So we have a model. So we can reuse those three materials we've got. So we just drop that brown on that trunk and the green on there. So we've got a tree. And what I'll do is just Alt G that. I'm just going to call this tree. So I have one tree there. So I just Alt G's group. So I'm going to rename this as our base. So that's our base. We're going to use this space for creating the other islands, hopefully. Okay, so we got one tree. So what I'm going to do is just duplicate that tree. I'm going to hold control and just drag until I get the old arrow and move it around. You know, let's look from the top view. Let's create about 5 of these. 5 trees should be fine. So I'm going to hold control and just drag it. It's just like the same as doing it in the tree hierarchy here. 1, 2, 3. We got 5. Yeah, that'll do. 5 different trees, and we can just scale them. Now you could use like a cloner, but because it's such a small thing, you know, we're not putting. You could just duplicate them and, you know, position them. Let's rotate them slightly different. Maybe definitely bring this one down. Maybe a small one. You know, this will be really small. Over here. And that main one over here, I'm going to just break it out of the center. There we go. Move this one. Which one is this? This one over here. Those two look too identical, so let's just rotate that like that, and then scale it down a tiny bit. There we go. So we have some kind of variation. Actually, I'll push this back. Select that tree, just push it back in there. There we go. Yeah. So it kind of looks a bit, it looks random, you know. We've got something going on. So now let's see how this looks in the renderer. So I'm using Redshift. So we get we're going to use that to bake as well. It's really easy to actually do and quick. So if I hit play here, so this is what we're seeing in our renderer. And there's nothing going on. There's not much lighting or shadows going on. So I'm just going to get light, and we're going to use the area light. Hopefully I ain't got an echo. Sorry if I do. And I'm just going to reduce that size. Pull this out. And bring this up. There we go. Let's just center this. So you get, the cool thing about the Redshift is you get the real-time, you know, feedback, which is what I really like. So I'm just going to go into these settings here. I'm going to remove these properties over. Just bring down that is exposure. I want to keep the shadows, but you know, bring down the exposure. There we go. Now I'm happy with that on this side, and probably on the back side, because we're going to spin this 360. We want a bit of lighting, but we want to keep the shadows and stuff. But when we bake it, so I'm just going to use a point light or something, see how that looks. Let's bring that point light up here, behind the objects, and we don't want this to cast shadow as well. So let's change. We're gonna increase the exposure a little bit. So we still got that, and then I'll just go to shadows and disable those shadows. So it's not casting the shadow, but it's just backlighting the back side of it a little bit. If you want, you could give it a little tint of color if you wanted. You can experiment with that, you know. I can't see anything going on there. Oh, there we go. So it looks pretty cool. You can see you got the shadows there. I mean, if I reduce this a little bit more. Yeah, I like that. I like how you got the shadow there, you know. Soft shadows and then a bit of hard shadows. This just depends on what you want, or the look you want to get. Bigger it is and the smaller, you know, the smaller it is, you get different, completely different. Well, yeah, you can play around with the lighting till you like it. I'm happy with that. It's like soft shadow there, and then we've got some backlight in there. Okay, that's cool. I'm just gonna leave it like that. So now you want to bake it. So what you need to do is prepare. Hello. So what we want to do is prepare the models for. So we need to do the UV mapping for the texture and all this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to group all these trees as one. So I'm going to have this as one object, the trees as one object, and this as another object. Just to make it easier for me for this tutorial. But you can do each tree yourself, or you know, it's really up to you. So I'm just going to group all these trees. I'm just going to call that trees. So I'm just going to have one texture for the trees and one texture for the base. I found that the easiest way for me. So I'm going to say select children and was it connect objects and delete. So now I just have the trees as one object and the base as one object. There we go. Now I'm going to go into my, before I do that, I'm going to go to my render settings here, switch to redshift, and under here I'll just change. Normally I've been playing around with this sample override, so I'm just going to put some settings in there. I'm just going to do 128 on the ambient occlusion. I'm going to do 512 for the light. I don't think you need anything else because I'm not baking anything. Depending on what you're using, if you have reflections in your scene, you can experiment with all those settings. But those seem to work for me using those override settings. You can see how quick it's cleaning up that. It's like half a second, so it'll bake really fast for us. So we need to sort out our UVs, so let's take a look at our UV map. So I'm going to do a quick UV map. It's not going to be, I'm just using automatic UV in. So this is what our current UV for the trees are going to look like, and if we baked it, it wouldn't work with this. So customize, where is it? Customize, is it customize palette? Yep. And then UV manager. There we go. So I open up the UV manager. I just select all the polys. There we go. And I'm just going to hit box. I just chose box for this. And then we go to optimal mapping and apply. And now we've got the UVs laid out for us. So you can see these are the sides. Now you can go in and fix up all the UVs, do them correctly, you know. I'm just using this automatic UV mapping. It's just easier for baking. You know, if you're doing something quick, I find that really useful. So we've got that done. So the trees are done. Let's get the base. So let's do the base again. Control E, I'm just going to select that, and then I shouldn't have closed the UV mapping box. Okay, projection box, add optimal mapping, apply. There we go. I hit it a few times and you just see it cleans itself up and lays it out for us. If you do want more control, you can go further into that, but that's cool. So we've got that working, which is nice. So next, what we want to do is we want to create a what's it called? Bake texture set. So under Redshift, they have this thing called tools, texture baking, create bake texture set from selection. So we select these two, go here, tools, create bake set from selection. If I scroll down here, objects, now you'll see here the two objects that we had selected are now in the list. You can drag objects in here manually as well. So you can choose the resolution of your texture you want to bake out. So we want to bake everything as it is, as we see it here. So I want a decent resolution. I'm gonna just go 1024 by 1024. It's a decent resolution for this. It's just a low poly object, and we just say bake. Now we're going to say where do you want to put it. So I'm going to just choose desktop. I'm going to make a new folder on my desktop. Okay, cancel that. Let me make a new folder again because it didn't rename it for some bizarre reason. Okay, come on, let me name it. Let me go to the desktop. I don't know what's going on there, and delete the other one. So let's delete that. Folder 3. Okay, so folder 4, I'm going to just rename that as bake objects. Okay, so we should see bake objects there. There we go. So maybe perhaps you create a folder somewhere in your directory where you want to create those. So we've got the default beauty, which will bake the shadows and the current lighting into the texture for us. And all we do is hit OK, bake, and you can see it's gone. It's done it. And it takes a few seconds because it's really low poly and basic lighting. We're not doing anything, you know, crazy, but it's done. We've done it. So I can close that. And now if I go here as well, we want to export the model itself. So if I go here, file, export, I'm going to just as OBJ, and what I've found is I've done it as no material, and where is it, export object as groups. Because if you do it as materials, what it'll do is it will split each tree up. The trunk as well will be coming as individual objects using the materials, which is not a bad thing depending on how you want to do it, but I'll just want two objects. So I've just done no material and export as an object, and we're going to export it to that bake folder as well. Where's that bake folder gone? Bake, come on, bake, there we go. There we go, bake object. Okay, so I'm gonna call this trees 1. Okay, and I'll save it there. So now that's baked. Also make sure you save your projects. You know, if you wanna go back and make some changes. So I'm just gonna say trees 1. Okay, so we've done that. So now you can open up Ventus. So I'm just currently on 6.4. This is the PLE, and we all know you can download this from the Ventus site. So you can go to ventus.com and you can go to downloads. You can get the PLE and follow along. You know, you can just download that, the latest version. Pretty cool. Anyway, so we're gonna do, there's many ways you can import this. You can drag it in, so you can drag your object straight in. So you see I've got the object here, I can just drag it into my hierarchy. Bam. I'm just gonna ignore this error because it's saying the materials, it's complaining about the materials because of the settings I've done. But you can see I've got the two objects, and what I'm going to do is just delete all of this, delete these three, delete that, so I just have one tree and then the two objects. So I'm going to just reduce the scale so we can see the object. There we go. Yeah. So what we want is a color. We want a solid color, and just place one on each. So we're not using any lighting, so it's flat, completely flat. No lighting's affecting it because you light, no white, no light, and it's white. So if I go here, texture, and we're just going to choose base, and we're going to browse to our texture on the desktop, so it would be in the bake objects where you've saved it, and now you'll see it will name it. So this is the base, and this is the tree. So I'm going to choose the tree, and you can see the trees coming. And I'll do the same again, texture, base. Now if you have an alpha then in your texture, then you could choose texture base and alpha. So let's load this in anyway. So now we're loading the texture, and you can see now we've got the same result as our render baked. So all our shadows, let me get another axis so I can tilt this forward so you can see. So we achieved the same look as our render, and we baked all the lighting into the object, which is cool. So it's really easy to bake your textures, bring them in from Cinema 4D, and then the live link. You could use the live link if you wanted, and bring the objects in like that as well. So it depends on how you do it, but yeah, there we go. Oh, probably I shouldn't have rotated that one. There we go. Which is cool. I think it's pretty cool. And you can play around with that, the lighting, and you know, when you're happy with the scene, you can, in your Cinema 4D, you can bring them in. So let's make another little tile that we can bring in. So what I'm going to do, just going to delete those trees. I'll keep the base as it is, and I'm going to just create a new material. So I'll just duplicate this green one and turn it blue, like so. Actually, no. I will just change the green to blue. Let's change that green to blue, so we have like a water surface kind of. There we go. So that can be a little water surface. I don't know how. I don't want to bake the reflections in there. Or do I want to do that? Actually, put this to brown. This one will be brown. Okay, so we're going to do that. I'm going to do something slightly different. And let's just duplicate this base again. So we have a second one. Let's scale this up. This will just be blue. So you can delete, I'm just going to delete those sets and the other materials on that base. So we just have it as blue. And I'm just going to scale it down. I mean, you can clean up the polys and stuff. So I'm just going to say this. But for me, I'm just going to leave it like that. There we go. I'm going to just place it just on top. There we go. So this is going to be our water. So that I'm keeping it as a separate object because I can add a reflection in Ventus if I want. A reflective texture, you know, we can play with that. And of course we can make sure the UV should be sorted already. Just make sure that's okay. So that's pretty cool. So we've got our water, and now let's make another base. Gonna duplicate that. I'm gonna scale it down, something like this. Now I'm gonna duplicate this water texture, make it green. I should have kept the green texture. There we go. Yeah. So we've got a green little island there. And you notice I just kept the same lighting for those. So I'm just going to build a little lighthouse. So let's create a cylinder. Just basic low poly. Make it, it doesn't have to look exactly like lighthouse. I'm not going to spend a lot of time modeling in Cinema 4D. It's more of a how to bake and import into Ventus rather than a Cinema 4D tutorial, so I don't want to spend too much time modeling, just showing principle. So let's bring those polys down. Yeah, that's okay. Happy with that? That can be our lighthouse, right? What we do is we create a new material. We've got a white and create another one and make this red. There we go. Actually, maybe we do. Play around with the materials a bit. I don't know. Let's see how the red looks. Okay, so let's make this into our 4 should be enough. Okay, let's make that into an object so we can select those. So I'm going to just set the loop there, red, white, red, and white. That's kind of like our, you can imagine that's our thing. We've got some kind of reflection. You can see it's reflecting there. Maybe that's too strong. Yeah, that'll do. I'm not gonna spend forever. Okay, so we've got that. Well, let's just put a taper on this just to make it, you know, squish up or whatever. I don't know how to say it. So just use deformer, taper, strength. There. So bring that taper size down. Now you could model this so you have more control over it. I'm just using the deformer just to shape it a little. Okay. What I'll do is just duplicate this base, scale it down, something like this. So that could be like a little platform that people walk around. Just drop a material on there. And then we just need to make a little dome shape. So let's just go here. What can we use as a dome? Oh, let's use the oil tanker. Let's see how that looks. This down. Hang on, did it? Yeah, I did use the oil tanker. Slice. Eh. Am I using the oil tanker right? Bring those segments down, make it really low poly. That'll do. Bring that radius down. Just overall scale down. And let's bring this up. Okay, it's not perfect, but just to give you an idea. There we go. If you want, you can create the little posts around, you know, the little safety rails, and oh, it does help if everything was aligned. Or is it aligned? No, it's not. That's well off. There we go. It does help if I kept it aligned. For some bizarre reason I moved it or offset everything. I'll do. I'm just gonna drop a material on that. Should I add? I'll add little posts. It doesn't matter. This up. I'm spending way too much time putting little details in. And once I've finished, I'm just going to quickly group all of this. So you'll see, I'll just clean up my tree and, you know, rename the tree and stuff, so it's easier to see. That's our little posts. We can just duplicate those around the edge or something, you know. Definitely load those pulleys. Yeah, about 5 should be alright. There we go. Go to top view. Just going to duplicate that and just position them in the corner of each one. Now you could create the railing. I'm not going to create the railing. I'm just putting these little post things. Now you can add all the detail you want. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you could add the bars. I'm just showing you as an example. But yeah, so we've got a little lighthouse. And we've got, there we go, it's all lit up. If you want, you can go play around with the lighting a bit, you know. You could tweak that. Perhaps you want to have another one, you know, top here, you know. You can play around with that and bake. Once you're happy with it, you bake it off. So maybe say I want that top object there. I'm just looking at it from all sides to see. Move it here. There we go. Yeah, but you can play around with the lighting how you feel works best for you. So now we're happy with that. Let's select all these objects. So these are all. Let's select all of these. So this is this. All of those. G. Make sure that's. So that's the top of the lighthouse. That's the base. So let's put these in a group as well. I'm going to merge these into one big object. So that's the base. So the base and all that. Yeah, I'm going to merge them all again. And then do the UV for those and just have one base. But you can see I have no, I'm not going to have one base. I'm going to have those separate. So I'll just call that grass. This one will be water. And then you got, hang on, Have I got two of the same? Delete that. Yeah, I had two in the same place. Okay, so water and then the base. That's okay. I'm happy with that. Select children. And then I'm just going to say connect objects and delete. There we go. So now we just got one object there. I'll call that lighthouse. I'm just going to repeat the same steps that we did already. Now, if you've watched this the beginning, you don't really need to watch it again, but it's good practice, you know. Repeat stuff, you know. I'll select it all. I'll repeat stuff many times. Projection, I'm just going to choose box, optimal mapping and apply. And we can take a look how that UV looks for the paint. Oh, so it hasn't actually done anything. Let's check. So let's go box. There we go. Optimal mapping. Apply. I'm streaming. Wait, I'm streaming. So we're gonna mess up my stuff. I'm streaming, man.
I need to go to the toilet. What do you want me to do? Not go to the toilet?
Come here, come here. Okay. So I'm holding a baby and streaming. Okay, so come here. Okay. Yeah. It's lighthouse. Okay, so we've done that. So we've got the lighthouse. And you can also make sure you save your project as. And I'm just going to say this as lighthouse. Lighthouse. Yeah. It's a keyboard. Okay. So now let's go to File, Export. We do the same thing, OBJ. And I'm going to say no materials, and there's a group, export objects as a group, and it's a lighthouse. And here where we've got our texture bake settings, I'm going to just delete the existing ones. And drag in our other objects, so the lighthouse, the grass, the water, and the base. And I've hit bake. What I'll do is create a subfolder within that. Call this lighthouse. Hit OK. And hit bake. We let that bake out. And we close. So now we're going to Ventus. And I'm going to minimize those trees. And we can go into our baked objects here. Grab the lighthouse object, just drag it into our scene. And just say, okay, skip those default materials. No problem. Yeah. And then delete these. We don't need that. So now you can see we've got our objects in there. Yeah, take this controller. Wait, I'm just handing him a controller. Here you go. Yeah, you got a controller. Color, solid, texture, and we apply the base. So now what you do is locate your texture. So mine's in here. So the lighthouse, we know that's the lighthouse. Oh, and we're not able to see it because of the scale. What I could do is drop it into here. Scale this down. There we go. Or I could take these properties. Let me reset these. So we have them at the same size. Oh, you okay? You jumped on the keyboard. Sorry about that. Okay. Oh. Okay. So we've got that. Oh yeah. So we've got white, no light. Let's just rotate this. match. Hey. Yeah. My mum. And what I'm going to do is duplicate this grass. Duplicate that, and then I'll just change the texture. So this is the grass. And we're going to do the water. So water. That's our water texture. And then the base. So if I go to the base, load the base one up. There we go. So we now have all three textures in there. So notice we've got our two tiles. I've moved them to the side. Now I can move the whole group. Very cool. So now you can see I can rotate these. And they're pre-lit, baked. I think I made a mistake with the material up here, but it gives you an idea how you can bake textures in. So now say, the cool thing is, say we want to make, let's just make this an interactive scene. So if I go to touch, oh, that's my headphones, man. Touch rotation, and I apply that to the tree scene. And say this is we want to spin this on the y-axis. So we go to the properties. Change this to Y. I'm going to say off axis, like this. And what I'm going to do on this one, I'm going to take the Y axis of the lighthouse and take the Y and say rotation, angle. So now when I rotate that, we're rotating our lighthouse as well. And what you could do is you could chain these together. So now you can have one island controlling another island. You can make an interactive island. So, but yeah, you can chain these up. So let's just drop a background in 2D gradient, and let's move it above our 3D layer here, and just give it a sky. So I'm gonna just go for the blue. Boom. There we go. Really simple scene. Made it interactive. And we baked our textures. Hopefully that was a useful tutorial. And oh yeah, and other thing we could do on the water, we could go in here, add another texture. You could say, base with alpha. Oh, come here. And let's just say, let me find something. Projects. Just find something that I can use. I'll use this as a reflection example. So I could make that as a reflection. Oh, someone's escaping. So I'm just going to go here, 3D mapping, reflection, apologies, sorry, and then operations. You could do maybe screen, or let's play around. We can play around with the operations, lighting, and if I scale all, oh yeah, make sure we have wrap on instead of clamp, so turn this to wrap. There we go. It's not the best texture I'm using. Let's see if I can get a better one. I must have something I can use. Lots of texture. This will do. That'll do for now, just as an example. But yeah, you can see now you can add the reflection. You can layer textures, put reflections on there. All sorts. It's cool. Hopefully that's useful. I'm gonna end the stream, and I'll try to make some more in the future. Thank you again for watching. See you next time.